You are currently being watched, and you don't even realize the predator in the room has already mapped your weaknesses. Within the next 5 minutes, you will learn the invisible codes that turn a standard conversation into a masterclass in submissive compliance. The first trick to controlling any room is identifying who is tracking you. If you suspect someone is staring at you in a crowded space, simply fake a deep, exaggerated yawn. Because humans are biologically wired for empathy, anyone watching you will be forced by their own brain to mirror the action, revealing their attention instantly. Once identified, you transition to the halo effect. By finding one small thing you have in common with a stranger, a shared hometown, or a mutual acquaintance, you trick their brain into assuming you are entirely trustworthy and intelligent. This single commonality casts a halo over your entire personality, making them more likely to agree with your future demands. But before the halo, you must win the body. The mirroring technique is the invisible handshake. Subtly match the other person's posture, their gesture patterns, even the rhythm of their breathing. The human brain is always scanning for sameness as a signal of safety. When you mirror someone, their nervous system registers you as familiar and non-threatening at a subconscious level, long before their conscious mind has time to evaluate you. You do not become their friend. You become their reflection, and people are always drawn to their own reflection. To deepen this connection, you must use their name as a psychological anchor. A person's name is the most important sound in their world. By weaving it into the beginning and end of your sentences, you create an artificial sense of intimacy and importance. This pairs perfectly with the serial position effect, which states that people only truly remember the start and finish of an interaction. By placing your most critical requests or your most impressive traits at these two bookends, you ensure the middle, the part where you might show weakness, is completely forgotten. Now add the Benjamin Franklin effect to your arsenal. Counterintuitively, if you want someone to like you, do not do them a favor. Ask them to do one for you. When a person does something for you, their brain cannot hold two conflicting ideas at once. It cannot say, I helped this person and I dislike this person simultaneously. So it resolves the conflict by deciding, I must like them, otherwise why would I help? A small, easy request builds more goodwill than a grand gesture. You are not asking for help. You are giving them the gift of liking you. If the conversation turns tense, do not argue. Use the food diffuser. Eating is a primal activity that signals safety to the human nervous system. If you invite someone to talk over a meal or simply offer them a snack during a conflict, their brain will prioritize the pleasure of the food over the heat of the argument. While they are distracted, apply the paraphrasing technique. By repeating their own words back to them in a slightly different way, you make them feel deeply heard and understood. This lowers their defensive walls, making them vulnerable to the nodding reflex. As you speak, maintain steady eye contact and gently nod your head. This subtle movement triggers a mirroring response in the other person, forcing them to nod back and subconsciously agree with whatever you are saying. Finally, you must master the foot in the door technique. Never start with a massive demand. Instead, ask for a tiny, insignificant favor that is impossible to refuse. Once they have said yes to the small thing, their internal self-image becomes tied to being a helpful person, making them far more likely to agree to a much larger request later to maintain consistency. If you need to exert dominance, maintain eye contact just a second longer than is socially comfortable. This signals a higher social rank and forces the other person to look away first, establishing you as the person in control of the exchange. Mastering these subtle cues is the difference between being a participant in a social game and being the one who writes the rules. Subscribe to the channel now to ensure you never miss the next level of psychological mastery. Most people walk into a deal hoping for the best, while the person across from them has already rigged the game using the anchoring effect. If you don't know how to set the starting line, you've already lost the race before the first word was spoken. The core of every fast negotiation is controlling the anchor. The first number or idea introduced becomes the psychological center of gravity for every following thought. If you are selling, start with an outrageously high price. Even if you settle lower, the final number will be significantly higher than if you had started reasonably. This is because of contrast. A $500 item seems like a bargain when it is placed next to a $2,000 one. You are not selling a product. You are selling a relative perception of value. Before you even walk into the room, know your BATNA, your best alternative to a negotiated agreement. This is the single most powerful thing you can bring to a negotiation, and it costs you nothing. If you have another offer waiting, you are never desperate. Desperation leaks through your body language, your word choice, the speed of your speech. When you know you can walk away, every word you say carries the quiet authority of someone who does not need this deal. The other party senses it, even if they cannot name it. Your BATNA is not a backup plan. It is a loaded weapon you never have to fire. To force a decision within 5 minutes, you must trigger loss aversion. The human brain is twice as motivated to avoid losing something as it is to gaining something of equal value. Instead of telling someone what they will gain by agreeing with you, tell them exactly what they will lose if they walk away. This creates an immediate scarcity mindset. By framing an offer as a one-time opportunity or a limited resource deal, you bypass their logical reasoning and trigger a survival-based urgency. While they are under pressure, use the illusion of choice. Never ask a yes or no question which invites rejection. Instead, offer 2 or 3 options that all lead to your desired outcome. Whether they pick door A or door B, you win, but they walk away feeling empowered because they believe they made the decision. This feeling of autonomy is a powerful tool for building reciprocity. If you offer a small, unsolicited concession early in the talk, the other person feels a heavy, subconscious debt to return the favor later in the deal. When the deal is nearly closed, deploy the nibble. After the main terms are agreed upon and both parties feel the relief of resolution, casually add one small additional request. You assume that includes the extended warranty, right? People are highly reluctant to reopen a deal that already feels finished. The emotional cost of revisiting the conflict is higher than the cost of the small concession you are asking for. You get more, and they barely notice. If you face resistance, deploy the and statement. Avoid using the word but which signals a total rejection of their perspective and builds defensiveness. Instead, say, I hear your concern, and here is how we can move forward. This bridges the gap without creating a battle of egos. Follow this with the default delay. If someone is trying to rush you into a bad deal, simply state that you will evaluate the data and return to them later. This removes the manufactured urgency they are trying to use against you. To seal the deal, use social proof. Mention that others in their position have already agreed to these terms. The brain is naturally lazy and prefers to follow the group rather than calculate risks independently. Finally, master the strategic silence. After you make an offer, stop talking. The silence will create an unbearable pressure that the other person will rush to fill, often by offering a concession or agreeing to your terms just to end the discomfort. The person who can sit comfortably in silence is the one who ultimately holds the power in the room. If you found this insight valuable, share it with someone who needs to take control of their career. Power isn't about who shouts the loudest. It's about who controls the information flowing into the ears of the decision makers. True influence moves in the shadows, using absence and selective silence to make your presence feel like a rare and expensive commodity. The most effective Machiavellian trick is the control of information. You do not need to force people to act. You simply need to shape the world they see. By selectively revealing some facts while withholding others, you dictate the narrative, and he who controls the narrative controls the final outcome. This leads to structural dependency. You must position yourself as the only person who knows how to solve a specific critical problem. If you are the load-bearing wall of an organization, no one will ever move against you because your removal would cause the entire structure to collapse. To deepen your position, master third-party validation. Never advocate for yourself directly. It looks desperate. Instead, allow your reputation to enter the room before you do. Plant your credentials and your achievements in the mouths of others. When someone else says you are extraordinary, it carries 10 times the weight of your own claim. A whisper campaign of admiration, carefully orchestrated, builds a fortress of social credibility that a direct pitch never could. You are not promoting yourself. You are engineering the conditions under which others promote you for you. To maintain this position, you must appear weaker than you are. If people know your full strength, they will build defenses against you. But if they underestimate you, they leave their guard down and reveal their own vulnerabilities. This is strategic restraint. Always keep something in reserve. Let others brag about their power while you move quietly in the corner, observing everything. This pairs with strategic absence. If you are always available, you become common and low value. By pulling back and becoming less reachable, you force people to remember your worth and chase after your attention. When you do speak, use praise as a setup. Flattery is an invisible weapon because no one guards themselves against a compliment. By building someone's ego up, you lower their walls, making them much more receptive to the request you make immediately afterward. This is softening the target. If they suspect you are manipulating them, shift to false empathy. Match their tone and energy so perfectly that they believe you are their sole connection. Once they feel understood, they become addicted to your presence and will do anything to keep the relationship intact. Master the art of strategic positioning in every physical space you enter. Never sit with your back to the door. Always choose a seat with a slight elevation advantage if possible. Place yourself at the head of a table, even in an informal setting. These choices are not about ego. They are about the subconscious signals of power that everyone reads without knowing they are reading them. The person at the center of the room controls the flow of conversation. The person with their back against the wall is already on the defensive before they have spoken a single word. If you are pushed into a corner, never show desperation. The moment someone sees you sweat, they know they have leverage over you. You must walk into every high-stakes situation looking like you have 10 other options waiting for you. This posture of indifference forces the other party to work harder to earn your agreement. If a conflict arises, use selective disclosure. Give them a piece of harmless but secret information to build a false sense of alliance. They will feel privileged to be in your inner circle, never realizing you are only showing them what you want them to see. Awareness is your only shield against these tactics, but it is also your greatest weapon. Use this knowledge to move smarter, not louder. Comment below with the trick that made you realize you've been played in the past. Imagine a world where people do exactly what you want because their own conscience forces them to, even when it's against their best interest. This isn't a hypothetical. It's the reality of emotional hijacking, where guilt and fear become the invisible leashes of human behavior. The most potent tool in this category is the guilt trap. Logic is slow, but guilt is instantaneous. To get an immediate favor, remind the target of a time you helped them in the past, even if it was small. Their brain will stop calculating the cost of the new favor and start feeling the emotional weight of the debt, forcing them to comply just to find internal peace. This is often reinforced by fear-mongering, by manufacturing a sense of impending disaster. If we don't act now, everything will be lost. You shut down their logical prefrontal cortex and trigger a panic-based obedience. The darkest variant of fear-based control is future faking. You paint an extraordinarily vivid picture of a future that you have no intention of delivering. The target falls in love not with you, but with the vision you have constructed. By the time they realize the vision was never real, they have already invested months or years of emotional energy into making it happen. And because they have invested so much, they find it almost impossible to leave. They are not loyal to you. They are loyal to the dream you sold them. Once they are emotionally unstable, use love bombing to create an artificial bond. Shower the target with intense affection, gift-giving, and praise until they are addicted to your validation. Then, suddenly pull it away. The resulting fear of abandonment will make them desperate to do whatever it takes to win back your approval. This cycle of intermittent reinforcement is perhaps the most powerful conditioning mechanism in human psychology. It is the same principle that makes gambling addictive. The unpredictability of the reward, sometimes warmth, sometimes cold silence, keeps the nervous system in a constant state of craving, chasing the next hit of approval like a machine they cannot stop feeding. To stay undetected, practice chameleon manipulation. You must become a mirror of the person you want to influence. If they are ambitious, speak about your goals. If they are vulnerable, share a fake weakness. By reflecting their own personality back at them, you trick their brain into believing you are the same, and humans are naturally wired to trust their own reflection. This moves into reverse mirroring. When someone is angry or aggressive toward you, do not react with the same energy. By staying completely calm and reflecting their absurdity back to them, you break their ego and force them to fight themselves instead of you. If you need to control a group, use triangulation. Create a conflict between two other people and position yourself as the neutral mediator or the only one who can solve the problem. By pitting them against each other, you ensure they are too distracted to notice you are the one pulling the strings. This is often paired with isolation. Cut the target off from their external support networks by planting seeds of doubt about their friends or family. A person with no one else to turn to has no choice but to follow you. Emotional hijacking is about seizing the remote control of someone's mind by capturing their feelings. If you want to learn how to defend against these shadow tactics, subscribe now. Your awareness is the only thing that can break the spell. Your brain has built-in glitches that can be exploited with the right sentence structure, making no feel like an impossible answer. Once you understand the yes ladder, you can walk anyone up a flight of stairs they never intended to climb. The yes ladder is a sequence of compliance. If you want a big promotion or a large favor, you don't ask for it directly. You ask for 3 small, easy yeses first, perhaps asking to join a meeting or help with a minor task. By the time you ask for the big thing, their brain has already established a pattern of saying yes to you, and saying no would create a painful internal inconsistency. This glitch is supported by false memory planting. If you repeat a story with enough detail, emotion, and repetition, the human brain will eventually categorize it as a true memory. You can rewrite the history of a relationship or a project simply by being the person who tells the story the most often. Understand the IKEA effect and use it against your opponents. Research shows that people place dramatically higher value on things they help to build. regardless of the actual quality of the result. If you want someone to be deeply committed to a plan, do not present it fully formed. Invite them to contribute to its design. Let them add one element, change one detail, name one part of it. The moment they have touched the plan, they will defend it like it is their own child. Because in their mind, it is. Another powerful glitch is revenge psychology, or the reactance glitch. Humans have a natural defense mechanism that makes them want to do exactly what they are told they cannot do. If you want someone to watch a video or take on a project, tell them it is only for people with a higher intellect or that they probably cannot handle it. Their ego will instantly flare up, and they will work twice as hard to prove you wrong, effectively doing exactly what you wanted them to do in the first place. The mere exposure effect is one of the most underestimated tools in long-range influence. You do not need to be impressive at first. You simply need to be present. Studies show that people develop preferences for things merely because they are familiar with them. The more often someone sees your name, hears your voice, or notices your face in a given context, the more they will come to trust and favor you, without any single interaction being significant. Consistency of presence beats intensity of impression every time. In professional settings, you must recognize the Dunning-Kruger effect to identify who is actually in control. Highly intelligent people often underestimate their own knowledge and act with humility, while the loudest and most confident person in the room is often the most incompetent. By acting slightly less knowledgeable than you actually are, you make the other person feel superior and smart. When they feel smart, they talk more, revealing their plans and vulnerabilities while you remain a mystery. To control your own state of mind, use singing for anxiety. Singing releases oxytocin and lowers cortisol, instantly grounding you in high-pressure moments. This allows you to maintain a clear head, which will always outperform a pressured opponent. If you are trying to influence a target's mood, understand the power of sunlight. People are statistically more likely to agree to terms and feel positive when they are exposed to direct sunlight or bright morning light. Finally, exploit the false dilemma. Give the target two bad options and one that you actually want them to take. Their brain will focus on avoiding the two bad ones, never realizing that the good option was a trap you set from the beginning. These cognitive shortcuts are the source code of human behavior. Use them wisely to defend yourself and influence those around you. If this part changed how you see the world, hit the like button. Part 6, the Master Stoic. Beneath every social interaction lies a primal struggle for rank, dictated by the chemical levels of dopamine and oxytocin in your brain. If you can master your internal biology, you can command a room without saying a single syllable. The pause of power is the ultimate tool of the Master Stoic. Most people are terrified of empty space and will babble to fill it. When someone insults you or tries to pressure you, simply look them in the eye and wait for 3 seconds. This silence signals that you are not reactive, which in the animal kingdom is the primary sign of high social rank. It creates a mystery that people will respect and fear. This is reinforced by the gray rock method. When dealing with a manipulator or a toxic person, become as boring and unresponsive as a gray rock. By denying them the emotional reaction they crave, you force them to lose interest and move on to a weaker target. Learn to recognize the amygdala hijack, the moment when a sudden emotional trigger bypasses your rational brain entirely and throws your body into pure reaction. When someone provokes you in a meeting or an argument, they may be deliberately engineering this hijack, knowing that a reactive you is a vulnerable you. The moment you feel your heart rate spike and your thoughts narrow, that is your signal. Do not respond. Breathe. Count. The hijack lasts approximately 6 seconds before your prefrontal cortex re-engages. Wait those 6 seconds, and the weapon misfires in their hand. To protect your internal peace, practice selective ignorance. Not every piece of gossip or negative opinion deserves your energy. By consciously choosing to ignore drama that does not serve your goals, you preserve your mental currency for things that actually matter. This pairs with posture of rank. Stand with an upright, open stance and maintain symmetrical hand gestures. This doesn't just influence how others see you. It actually changes your brain chemistry, increasing your dopamine levels and making you feel more dominant and resilient. Train yourself to think from the third position. Most people experience a situation from only two vantage points, their own internal reaction or the other person's perceived perspective. The third position is the observer. It is the ability to float above the interaction and watch it as a neutral analyst would. When you operate from the third position, emotional bait loses its hook. You stop being a player in someone else's drama and become the director. This is not detachment. It is strategic clarity. You feel everything, but you are not controlled by what you feel. In a conversation, control your vocal pacing. People who are nervous speak fast and at a high pitch. By speaking slowly and at a moderate volume, you project a sense of unshakable certainty. This is the halo of confidence. If you appear to know exactly where you are going, people will naturally step out of your way and follow you. If you need to build a fast alliance, use oxytocin bonding. Shared physical activities, like walking or working out together, release bonding chemicals that create a sense of loyalty that words alone cannot achieve. Finally, understand the winner effect. Every small victory you achieve increases the dopamine receptors in your brain, making it biochemically easier to win the next conflict. Start your day with small, achievable goals to build this success momentum. If you can control your own habits, you can eventually control your entire environment. This is cognitive reframing. Stop seeing obstacles as threats. See them as data points that you can use to adjust your strategy. The greatest power you will ever hold is the power over yourself. If you have mastered your own mind, no one on this earth can ever truly control you. Stay sharp, stay aware, and remember that knowledge is the only true power. Subscribe now to continue your journey into the dark side of psychology.